Sniper Elite 3 comes from Rebellion, a studio with a long history of mediocre to solid games. Sniper Elite 3 joins these ranks, but thankfully is on the higher end of the scale. It is solid, no more, no less. Sniper Elite 3's story seems to have been written by a 12-year-old that has seen far too many World War II movies for his age, and unfortunately, none of the good ones. The 300th runner-up in the Right for Fun competition has delivered what he believes to be a 300-word epic rife with drama, action, and tragedy. Rebellion had realised too late in development cycle that when you pay peanuts you get monkeys. The game director gave his writer the promised M&Ms and a pat on the back, and kicked him out the door while he tried to figure out how to incorporate the story enough to tie together the stealthy snipey action, but not enough for the steaming pile of horseshit to get in the way. Credit where credit is due, he did this well. The story is basically delivered through a couple of short pre- and post-mission cutscenes, and it doesn't really hinder the experience. Hell, I even got a chuckle out of Carl's final encounter with the villain. The graphics don't aim for photorealism, and this is smart. So rather than ending up like Watch Dogs that aims for photorealism, misses the mark, and is considered ugly, on console of course, its deliberate style is taken into consideration when judging the visuals. So it's kind of just like, yeah, the game looks fine. The game takes place across 8 open levels with plenty of collectibles, secondary objectives, and ways to approach these objectives. Need to get into a town? Shoot everyone at the gate and stroll in. Climb the tower to the side and enter from there, or get in through an underground cave by the wall. Replayability is the name of the game here, and in this department the game has potential for those who want it. Stealth is definitely the focus. You can carry around a submachine gun, but after the first 3 rounds have been fired, you may as well be launching bullets from a fire hose. This is on top of the fact that Carl doesn't handle punishment very well at all. So you will be spending 9 of the campaign's 10 hours crouch walking around with this silenced pistol that is a one-shot kill to the head but requires cocking after each shot. This is where frustration enters the mix. Very few third-person shooters do close-range snap shooting well. Sniper Elite 3 doesn't join these prestigious ranks. It is awkward and it is clumsy. This is incredibly aggravating when you need to pull off a close-range headshot. As the Nazi who's just seen you is fumbling around with his gun, preparing to shoot you for a good 6 seconds, you are sitting there firing, missing, cocking, and screaming at your television. These situations are more common than you would think, as the Nazis investigate even the smallest sound extensively. For some reason they believe that the footsteps outside their room can't possibly be the teammate who was standing there not 5 seconds ago before you shoved a knife in his ear, a fact that he is unaware of. You will need to traverse huge open world maps to get to your objectives. You will have to do so crouch walking at a snail's pace, as the detection radius for standing up and moving at a light jog is about 30 meters. I kept thinking that this is where the game gets its length from, making us constantly reload checkpoints because of incredibly suspicious AI, and crouch walk for hundreds of meters at a time. The sniping is great, well you'd hope so, wouldn't you? In terms of the turning, pointing and shooting, it isn't fundamentally different from any other shooter. I mean, how could it be? But there is no such thing as a silenced rifle in the world of a World War II sniper. So you will have to do what is called sound masking to hide your shots. Meaning, say you fire your weapon as a plane flies over, so the noise of your shot is drowned out by the planes. If that isn't an option, you can always relocate. Firing a shot doesn't automatically give every German soldier within 200 meters a bead on you. At first, they'll look around wondering where the shot came from. They will know the general direction and move toward it, but you are given the opportunity to move to another location for a fresh start, if of course you aren't seen moving there. The final element that sets Sniper Elite sniping apart from other games that dip their toes into the pool of sniping is the death cam. Often landing a killing blow with your rifle will see the camera follow the bullet's journey from your barrel into and sometimes through the inside of your victim's body. This is very entertaining. Most of these will show you just parts of the skull crack as you land your 30th headshot for the mission, but when you hit the torso, things start to get interesting. Watching the bullet break apart the spinal column, split a lung in half, or hitting both testicles on the way through can turn anyone into a sniping sadist. What really hooked me with Sniper Elite 3 was the amount of secondary content. The campaign can be played through in its entirety with another player online, there's a co-op and solo wave defense mode, there's Overwatch, a mode in which a sniper must guide his spotter through an enemy compound, and adversarial multiplayer. The co-op campaign and Overwatch mode were unavailable to me as you cannot have randoms join your game. It must be a friend. If it were otherwise, they didn't do a very good job of explaining it or presenting the option to you. The wave defense is really quite enjoyable if a bit lacking in features when compared to the Modern Warfare mode or the Gears of War Horde mode. Basically, you're put in a town and tasked with surviving 15 waves of Nazi soldiers with checkpoints every 3 waves and supply pickups around the map. I would say the competitive multiplayer pleasantly surprised me, but I don't think pleasantly sums it up all that well. Though there are very few maps and many of them are quite samey, the gameplay shines. I came into it expecting an MP40 and Thompson deathmatch, but Rebellion have ensured that this is almost impossible. Between the accuracy woes of the submachine guns I mentioned earlier, the maps are also incredibly large for just 12 players, making it a lot easier for your rifle bullets to do the travelling instead. Minutes will pass without shots being fired as snipers all over the map wait in silence and stillness for another player to give away their position. Relocating is a harrowing experience, knowing that eyes from all corners of the map could be on you. The music plays on this with some really eerie tracks that blend in and out of the silence. All of this is tied together by an XP persistence system that is used to unlock weapons and equipment available for use across all modes. This is great as it makes all modes worthwhile, even just to try out. Sniper Elite 3 isn't a great game. It's buggy and in some cases ill-designed, but it never set out to be Game of the Year, and this is evident. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and it kinda seems like the developers just put into the game what they thought might be fun. And it works. The single player is packed with stuff to do, the cooperative modes do the job, and competitive multiplayer is fresh and exciting. There are hundreds of hours of sniping fun here for anyone who wants it, and from what I've played, there will be. A 7 out of 10. So there you have it, ladies and gents, another review down. As always, please leave feedback in the comments as to what you like, what you didn't like, and what you'd like to see in future reviews. But otherwise, thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends, all the usual. This is Ivesy, signing off.